All right, so today we're going to dive into something a little different.
Okay.
We're going deep on a single story.
Oh, cool.
A thriller novel, actually.
Nice.
Stephen King's Billy Summers.
Okay. Yeah.
I know what you're thinking.
Another Stephen King book.
Right, but trust me on this one.
Okay.
This one's special.
Oh, right.
We're going way beyond just like a typical book review or plot summary.
Right.
And really going to unpack the character of Billy Summers himself.
Oh, interesting.
The moral dilemmas he faces and what makes this story so much more than just your typical hitman tale.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
So what's so intriguing about this book right off the bat
Right.
is how King subverts that traditional hitman trope.
Yeah, he really flips the script
Yeah.
because Billy only takes out quote-unquote bad guys.
Right.
And he's actually a pretty likable guy.
Yeah.
He's smart, resourceful, even has like a code of ethics.
Yeah.
It makes you question the whole, can a hitman ever truly be a good guy thing?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, it's not like your typical tough guy persona.
Right.
Billy's got this whole other side to him.
Definitely.
He's a war veteran,
Mm-hmm.
which right there hints at some baggage, you know?
Some serious baggage
Yeah,
for sure.
sure.
Yeah.
And he pretends to be a simpleton
Oh, wow.
to keep people from suspecting him.
Interesting. So he's like playing a character on top of his, hitman character.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like he's wearing a mask,
Uh-huh.
but you get these glimpses of the real person underneath.
Oh, that's cool.
That duality, I think, is what makes him so compelling.
Yeah, totally agree.
On the one hand,
He's this incredibly skilled killer, a ghost. He can just disappear without a trace.
yeah,
But then on the other hand,
yeah,
he's yearning for something more,
right.
a sense of normalcy and connection
Mm.
that his profession just totally denies him.
We see that yearning really clearly when he starts playing Monopoly with Alice.
Oh, yeah.
This young woman who gets caught up in his world.
Right.
It's such a small detail.
Yeah.
But it speaks volumes about his desire for a life outside the darkness.
Totally. It's like this little glimmer of humanity peeking through.
That relationship with Alice is so pivotal to the story.
Definitely.
You know, she's vulnerable. She needs his protection.
Yeah.
And it forces Billy to tap into a side of himself
Right.
that he's probably kept buried for years.
Totally.
He becomes like a guardian, a protector,
Yeah.
which clashes directly with his role as a hitman.
It's like a complete contradiction.
Yeah, it's interesting because you'd think someone in his line of work would want to keep his distance from anyone who could become a liability.
Right. You'd think so.
But he's drawn to Alice.
Yes.
Almost like he needs to save her to somehow save himself.
Oh, that's a really interesting take.
It speaks to that theme of redemption that runs throughout the whole novel.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, his past is shrouded in darkness. We know he's a war vet.
Right.
But King slowly reveals these hints of a traumatic childhood as well. It's like he's constantly trying to atone for the violence in his life by protecting Alice.
Yeah, I see that.
So that brings us to the job that sets the whole story in motion.
Okay.
Billy's planning on retiring
Mm-hmm.
after one last hit.
Makes sense.
Seems straightforward enough, right?
Yeah.
But then King throws in this incredible twist.
All right, and listening.
The target is another hitman
Yeah.
who claims he has information that could clear his name.
Okay.
Suddenly, Billy's faced with a moral dilemma. Huge. Does he believe this guy?
Right.
And if so,
Yeah.
what does that mean about the people who hired him?
Yeah, that changes everything.
That's when you start to see the cracks in Billy's carefully constructed world. He gets
Right.
this feeling, this
Yeah.
Schrage feeling, as King describes it.
Charade.
Yeah, it's a German word.
Oh, okay.
Something's just not right.
Yeah.
It's like the ground is shifting beneath his feet.
I can imagine.
And that feeling propels him into this investigation, turning him into like an unlikely detective.
That's cool.
He starts uncovering these clues.
Like what?
A mysterious red-haired man,
Yeah.
a suspicious death connected to a burned-down warehouse,
Uh-huh.
all these threads that point to something much bigger than he initially imagined.
So it's a real conspiracy.
It is.
But-
It makes you realize that Billy's not just a hired gun.
Right.
He's intelligent,
Yeah. Yeah.
analytical, and driven by a need for the truth.
Definitely.
He could have easily walked away,
Right.
but something compels him to dig deeper.
So what is it, do you think? What's driving him?
I think that compulsion is rooted in his past.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
We see it in his meticulous planning, His almost obsessive attention to detail.
Yeah.
It's like his military training combined with this deep-seated need to control the chaos around him.
Right.
Something that likely stems from the trauma he experienced.
It's like he's trying to impose order on a world that feels inherently chaotic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if he sees this investigation as a way to reclaim his own narrative.
Oh, that's interesting.
To find some sense of agency in a life that's been defined by violence.
Yeah, like he's taking back control.
Right.
Like that.
And it's through this investigation that Billy finally uncovers the truth about his employer, Nick.
And what is it?
The revelation is shocking.
Okay.
Nick was protecting a wealthy pedophile.
Oh, God.
Using his influence to silence victims and cover up his crimes.
Wow, that takes it to a whole other level.
So it's a gut punch.
Yeah.
You realize how deep this corruption runs and how Billy's been unknowingly complicit in a truly horrific scheme.
Oh, man, that's heavy.
It puts him in this impossible position.
Right,
He's
yeah.
already killed a man.
Yeah.
And now he's faced with an even more monstrous evil.
So what's he going to do?
It's a major turning point for Billy.
Yeah.
He could walk away,
Mm-hmm.
try to forget everything he's learned,
Right.
but instead,
He chooses to fight back.
he does. He decides to expose the truth, no matter the cost.
That's a huge decision.
That decision speaks volumes about his character, his sense of justice, and ultimately his desire for redemption.
It's like he's finally found something worth fighting for.
It also shows how much Alice has influenced him.
Right.
He's not just fighting for himself anymore. He's fighting to protect her
Mm-hmm.
and others like her
Yeah.
from falling prey to this network of evil.
So he's become a protector in the truest sense.
And that's where I think the true brilliance of King's writing shines through.
Yeah.
He manages to take this familiar thriller setup.
The hitman with a conscience.
Right.
Yeah, we've seen that before.
And infuse it with these layers of moral complexity, psychological depth,
Yeah.
and ultimately a powerful message about the possibility of finding hope and redemption,
Right.
even in the darkest of corners.
That's what makes it so compelling.
We've only scratched the surface here,
Oh, we have.
but I'm already hooked. I can't wait to see how Billy's plan unfolds
Yeah.
and what kind of future awaits him and Alice.
Absolutely.
But we'll have to save that for next time.
Okay, sounds good. So it's fascinating how King uses the whole thriller genre
Yeah.
as a vehicle
Right.
to explore these deeper themes,
Mhm.
like trauma redemption and the power of storytelling.
You know, one thing that really struck me
Yeah.
was the way King slowly peels back the layers of Billy's past.
Right.
We know he's a war veteran,
Mm-hmm.
but there are these subtle hints
Yeah.
about something even darker that happened in his childhood.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He doesn't just like dump all the backstory on us at once.
No, he doesn't.
He carefully reveals these fragments
Right.
through Billy's thoughts and memories,
Mm-hmm.
creates this sense of unease and mystery,
Yeah.
like a puzzle that gradually comes into focus.
And the pieces really start to fall into place
Right.
when Billy talks about the Speck House.
Oh, yeah, the Speck House.
This nightmarish foster home.
Right.
He was sent to after witnessing the brutal murder of his sister.
God, that's awful.
That detail just sends chills down your spine.
It does.
Even the name itself,
Yeah.
the Speck House,
Yeah.
evokes this sense of decay and corruption.
Totally.
It's a place where innocence is shattered
Right.
and violence is the norm.
Yeah, it's like a breeding ground for trauma.
It's clear that this experience
Yeah.
left a deep scar on Billy,
Of course.
shaping his worldview
Uh-huh.
and his capacity for both violence and compassion.
It's like he's caught between those two extremes.
I found it interesting how King connects Billy's childhood trauma
Mm-hmm.
to his experiences in the Iraq War.
Right. Like it's all intertwined.
It's like he's constantly reliving that trauma,
Yeah.
both in his nightmares
Mm-hmm.
and in his waking life.
Wow.
He talks about feeling like he's on a never-ending patrol,
Oh, wow.
always on guard,
Right.
waiting for the next ambush.
God, that's intense.
That never-ending patrol metaphor
Yeah.
is so powerful. It speaks to the psychological toll of violence,
Mm-hmm.
how it can leave you feeling trapped in this state of hypervigilance,
Yeah.
even when you're physically safe.
Right. Your mind is still in that war zone.
Exactly.
It's no wonder he's drawn to Alice.
Right.
He sees in her a chance to protect someone
Yeah.
from the kind of darkness he's experienced.
It's almost like he's trying to rewrite his own past by saving her.
Oh, that's a really interesting point.
And that's where the theme of redemption comes in.
Right?
Billy's actions aren't just about righting the wrongs of others.
Yeah.
They're about atoning for his own past. He's
Mhm.
trying to break free from the cycle of violence that's defined his life.
It's a powerful journey.
It's interesting to contrast Billy with Nick.
Oh, yeah, good point.
The man who hired him,
Yeah.
Nick, is also a product of a traumatic past.
Right. But he goes in a completely different direction.
Instead of seeking redemption,
Yeah.
he perpetuates the cycle of abuse. He uses his wealth and power to protect a predator,
God.
someone who preys on the innocent.
It's like he's become the very thing he should be fighting against.
That contrast really highlights the choices we make
Mm.
when confronted with trauma.
Yeah, for sure.
We can either become consumed by it,
Right.
like Nick, or we can choose to fight against it, to
Yes.
protect others from suffering the same fate.
Exactly.
Billy chooses the latter path,
He does.
even though it's far more dangerous
Right. It's a risky move.
and uncertain.
Definitely.
And it's not just about physical protection.
Right.
He also provides Alice with emotional support,
That's right.
something he probably never received himself.
Probably not.
He listens to her,
Mm.
validates her feelings,
Yeah.
and helps her process the trauma she's experienced.
He's giving her the tools to heal.
That emotional support is crucial for both of them.
I agree.
It's like they're healing each other's wounds,
Yeah.
finding solace in their shared experience of pain and resilience.
It's a beautiful thing.
Another aspect I found fascinating
Yeah.
was the way King uses writing as a tool for self-discovery and redemption.
I love that.
Billy keeps a journal throughout the novel,
He done.
documenting his thoughts,
Mhm.
feelings,
Yeah.
and the events that unfold.
It's like a window into his soul.
That journal becomes a kind of confessional for Billy.
It does.
It's where he grapples with his past,
Right.
confronts his demons,
Mhm.
and tries to make sense of the chaos around him.
Yeah, he's trying to process everything that's happened.
It's also where he starts to shape his own narrative,
Oh, that's interesting.
reclaiming his story from the grip of violence and trauma.
He's taking back control.
And it's through that act of writing
Mm.
that he discovers a new purpose. He decides to write a novel,
Wow, a novel within a novel.
a fictionalized account of his life as a hitman.
That's meta.
It's like he's trying to transform his pain into something meaningful,
Yeah.
something that could potentially help others.
It's a powerful idea.
That storytelling can be a form of healing,
It can be.
both for the writer
Mm.
and the reader.
Absolutely.
By sharing our stories,
Yeah.
we connect with others on a deeper level,
We do.
fostering empathy, understanding,
Yeah.
and ultimately hope.
It's a way of building bridges.
And it's not just about sharing our pain.
No.
It's also about sharing our resilience, our
Right.
capacity for love and compassion,
Yeah.
even in the face of unimaginable darkness.
That's the key.
I think that's ultimately what Billy's story is about.
I agree.
And it's through the discovery of Billy's manuscript
Oh, yeah.
that Alice finally understands the full scope of his journey.
She does.
She sees the man beneath the mask,
Mhm.
the wounded soul
Right.
who fought so hard to find redemption.
It's a beautiful moment.
That ending with Alice reading Billy's words
Yeah.
is both heartbreaking and hopeful.
It is.
It leaves you with this lingering sense of melancholy, knowing that Billy is gone,
Mm.
but his story will live on.
And that's the beauty of it.
Even though Billy disappears into the unknown,
Yeah.
his legacy remains.
It does.
His story has the power to touch others,
Mm.
to inspire them to confront their own demons,
Yeah.
and to seek redemption in their own lives.
It's a ripple effect.
It's a reminder that even the most flawed and broken individuals
Right.
can find a path to healing
Absolutely.
and make a positive impact on the world.
That's the message of hope.
So, it's interesting how Billy chooses to frame his story as fiction.
Yeah.
He creates this alter ego,
Right.
Angie Compson,
Uh-huh.
to narrate his experiences.
That really struck me as well.
Yeah,
On the surface, it seems like a way to distance himself
right.
from the weight of his actions,
Mhm.
create a buffer
Yeah,
between his reality and the story he's telling.
right.
But I think it goes deeper than that.
Oh, yeah.
By fictionalizing his life, he's able to explore those darker impulses, those moments of violence,
Yeah.
without fully claiming them as his own.
It's almost like he's wrestling with his own identity.
Totally.
He's trying to reconcile the man he is
Yeah.
with the man he was forced to become.
Exactly. And that internal struggle is something I think a lot of people can relate to,
Yeah,
even if they haven't lived through the kind of trauma Billy has.
right.
We all have those parts of ourselves that we'd rather not acknowledge,
Oh, for sure.
those shadows we try to keep hidden.
And what's so brilliant about King's writing is that he doesn't shy away from those shadows.
No, he doesn't.
He forces us to confront them,
Yeah.
to see the humanity even in the darkest of characters.
And in doing so, he challenges our own perceptions of good and evil,
Right.
redemption and forgiveness.
Yeah.
Can a man like Billy Summers, a man who has taken lives, truly find peace?
Right.
Is it enough to expose the evils of others,
Yeah.
to protect the innocent? Or does true redemption require something more?
Those are tough questions.
They are.
And I don't think there are any easy answers.
No.
But the fact that King makes us grapple with these questions
Yeah.
is what elevates Billy Summers beyond a simple thriller.
Right.
It becomes a meditation on the human condition, on the complexities of morality, and the enduring power of hope.
And what makes it even more impactful
Yeah.
is that we experience this journey through Alice's eyes.
Oh, right.
She's the one who discovers Billy's manuscript,
Mm-hmm.
who gets to see the full scope of his transformation.
Right.
She becomes the keeper of his story, his legacy.
It's almost as if Billy knew he couldn't fully escape his past.
Yeah.
But he could at least try to make sense of it, to find some meaning in the chaos.
Right.
And by sharing his story with Alice,
Yeah.
he ensures that it won't be forgotten,
Right.
that his struggle for redemption will continue to resonate.
That's what makes the ending so bittersweet.
It really is.
Billy may be gone,
Yeah.
but his impact on Alice and on us as readers is undeniable.
Right.
He leaves behind this ripple of hope,
Mm-hmm.
a reminder that even the darkest of times,
Mm-hmm.
there's always the possibility of change, of growth, of finding some measure of peace.
It's a story that stays with you long after you've finished the last page.
It does.
It makes you think about the choices we make,
Yeah.
the consequences of our actions, and the enduring power of the human spirit
Right.
to overcome even the most daunting obstacles.
And that's the mark of a truly great novel.
It is.
It doesn't just entertain.
Right?
It challenges us,
Yeah.
provokes us,
Mm-hmm.
and ultimately leaves us with a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
I think anyone who's ever felt lost, broken, or unsure of their place in the world will find something to connect with in Billy Summers.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a story about finding your voice,
Mm-hmm.
reclaiming your narrative,
Yeah.
and choosing hope even when surrounded by darkness.
It's been a pleasure diving deep into this novel with you.
Likewise.
And for our listeners, if you're looking for a story that will stay with you long after you've finished reading,
Mm-hmm.
I highly recommend giving Billy Summers a chance.
Until next time,
Yeah.
keep exploring, keep questioning, and
Mhm.
keep diving deep into the stories that matter.